Bonjour à tous, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going over 3 books that I think everyone should read if they are new to Paris. When I first came to Paris about 4 years ago, there were a lot of things that confused me about the city. The only information that I had were the stereotypes about the French, which are generally exaggerations, although some of them are true. Now, I think the best way to understand a city is to go out, talk to people, and form relationships. But I think the second best way is to read books, because you get to learn from the wisdom of those who have already been through what you will experience. So let's get this video started with the first book on my list, which is Stephen Clark's A Year in The Merde. Now, this is a really funny book that had me laughing and also made me reconsider my experiences in Paris. It's about this fictional guy named Paul West, based in the UK, who gets hired by a French company to work in Paris for 12 months. And in the process of him coming to Paris and trying to settle down, he notices the idiosyncrasies of the French life. For example, the hassles of finding an apartment or the painfully slow bureaucracy, which means he'll need to be patient if he wants anything done quickly. He has to deal with unpleasant waiters, misses an appointment due to metro strikes, and is surprised to learn that his French colleagues are more interested in organizing lunch. Now, I'll be the first to admit that the anecdotes in this book are slightly exaggerated, so don't treat this as a guide or a how-to book. It's just like the story of a guy living in Paris, narrating his experiences, and he learns many things along the way. Really well written, very engaging, riddled with a lot of insights about Paris. Next on the list, we have 60 Million Frenchmen, Can't Be Wrong. It's written by a couple, Jean-Benoit Nadeau and Julie Barlow. The book was inspired by their 2-year stay in Paris between 1999 and 2001. Jean-Benoit was sponsored by the Institute of Current World Affairs to study why the French resist globalization. In the book, the authors take issue with the negative stereotyping of France, especially by the Americans and Great Britain. In particular, they reference the American journalist Thomas Friedman, who in his book, The Lexus and the Olive Tree says, "If France was a stock, I'd sell it." They argue that Thomas Friedman is wrong and provide justification as to why France functions the way it does. To give an idea of what the book is about, I'm going to read an excerpt from the beginning of the book, which is: imagine a country where people work 35-hour weeks, take 7 weeks of paid holidays per year, take an hour and a half for lunch, have the longest life expectancy in the world, and eat the richest food on the planet, but has the world's highest productivity index, ranks number 3 in export, was the world's 4th biggest economic power, and has become Europe's powerhouse. You are now in France. To be honest, unlike the first book, which scratches the surface, this book goes much deeper into the makings of the French society. It's a non-fiction book that's rather long, about 350 pages, I think. The book is split into 3 different sections. The first part is called Spirit, which explains the characteristics of the French mentality, such as grandeur and authority, and it also includes historical events such as the World War II and the Algerian War. Here's an excerpt from this section. The French press helps satisfy the country's thirst for grandeur by singling out stars in every domain of life. Artists or thinkers who gain this status are referred to by their last name only, Sartre, or by the initials BHL. Sartre was an extreme example. During his lifetime, the French sought his opinion on everything, even topics about which he knew very little, to the extent that Sartre actually created an intellectual void around himself. An expression took root during his life: better be wrong with Sartre than right with Raymond Aron, an intellectual who held different views but turned out to be right about many things, including the future of communism. The second part is called Structure, which discusses how the French built their social and political systems. It does not shy away from difficult topics such as racism and the Muslim integration in France. My favorite chapter here is a French education system, which explains the concepts of le bac, lycée, concours, classe préparatoire, and how every French parent dreams of their child to get into a grande école, which is similar to the Ivy Leagues in the United States. Case in point is the Lycée Louis le Grand, which is a prestigious high school in Paris. If you look at their notable alumni list, it is quite extensive. So the truth is, a majority of the best minds that France has produced in the last century have come only from a handful of schools. They note, parents are set to move to certain neighborhoods of Paris just to give their offspring a better chance of being admitted to the right schools. Kids who grow up in bad neighborhoods, the poor ones, are often weeded out at this stage. So there are limits to the system's claim to egalitarianism. The third part is called Change, which explores how France is developing in terms of worldview and political systems. Here the author concludes that the French are not resistant to globalization, and they give the examples of Renault taking controlling shares of Nissan and how Carrefour ranks number 2 in the world just behind Walmart. The book goes a long way to explaining the makings of the French society, and it helped me gain a deeper perspective on the country. Finally, we have a French book titled Tout le monde n'a pas eu la chance de rater ses études, which translates to "Not everyone is lucky enough to fail his studies." Now, if you don't speak French, don't worry, there's an English version called The Way of the Intelligent Rebel. It's written by Olivier Roland, who is known as the French Tim Ferriss. In the past, France has had a bad reputation for entrepreneurship. This is changing with initiatives such as Station F and the Family, and the country has produced a number of unicorns in the last decade. The book talks about how Olivier quit high school and started his first company at the age of 19. He talks about how the current education system is slow and unable to keep up with the rapid explosion of information. He criticizes the Parisian métro boulot dodo lifestyle and argues that entrepreneurship can be a more fulfilling approach to life and money. So this is not a book about France per se, but it talks a lot about entrepreneurship and starting a business in France, which I think gave me a better understanding of the country. So these are the 3 books to read if you're new to Paris. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. Happy New Year, and I will see you in the next video.